Hey guys, today's lesson is about compound and complex sentences. Now one of the main reasons we want to use compound and complex sentences in our writing is because it enhances the overall writing style. When you string together several thoughts with phrases and clauses like you'll see in compound and complex sentences, your writing becomes more fluent and less choppy. It's easier to read and more enjoyable for the reader to listen to. Another thing that compound and complex sentences do, they enhance your speech pattern. When you speak with compound and complex sentences, you'll notice that your speech becomes more articulate and it's easier to listen to. So our objective for today is to learn how to write compound and complex sentences. To turn this simple sentence into a compound sentence, I simply come back to the period and I change that period to a comma. I add a conjunction such as and then I add another clause. It makes a wonderful hand moisturizer. So a compound sentence consists of two clauses connected by a comma and a conjunction. The first clause is toxic worm slime is luxuriant. The second clause, it makes a wonderful hand moisturizer. And if you notice in the middle, there's my comma and there's my conjunction. On the next slide, I'll give you a cool acronym so that you can remember which conjunctions you can use to connect the independent clauses of a compound sentence. There are only 7 different conjunctions that you'll use to separate the independent clauses in a compound sentence, and the acronym we choose is entitled fanboys. The F stands for, the A represents and, the N represents nor, the B represents but, the O represents or, the Y represents yet, and the S represents so. Here's another example of a simple sentence that I want to change into a compound sentence by simply going back and taking the period and changing that period into a comma and adding a conjunction. I can add another clause right after it to change this simple sentence into a compound sentence. Let's try this. A wonderful after-school snack. Here's my first independent clause of the sentence. Squirrel jerky may be very pungent. Here's my second independent clause. It's a wonderful after-school snack. And there's my comma and my conjunction. It's really important to remember the comma because without the comma we have one great big long run-on sentence. This is an example of a complex sentence. If you look closely, you'll find that there is no comma to separate the clauses. However, there is a subordinating conjunction. The first clause in this sentence is, the Yeti on my lawn is patriotic, and the second clause is, it holds a flag. You can tell this is a complex sentence because of the conjunction because, which is a subordinating conjunction. In the next slide, I'll show you several examples of different subordinating conjunctions you can use to connect independent clauses in a complex sentence. This word cloud depicts over 15 different subordinating conjunctions you can use to connect the independent clauses in a complex sentence. If you'll notice, every single one of them is different than the fanboys conjunctions we used to connect the independent clauses of a compound sentence. Study this chart and become familiar with it, and you can use these to create your own complex sentences. The main standard addressed during this presentation was Nebraska Standard 8.2.1.d, which states that the learner will compose sentences of varying length and complexities, avoiding fragments and run-ons. I hope you found this presentation about compound and complex sentences informative. Thank you for your time.